Brofist to you all. Happy Thursday to you guys. Yes, sorry, regular drama viewers, if you didn't get our message. We have been putting it out for a week, but we are doing drama on a Thursday afternoon because I have to be on a train in the next hour and 50 minutes in the center of the city, and I have to pack, and I have to go and see Chris's house and do all those kind of things. And I will not be here on Friday. I'm going to go and do some playtesting and feedback on an MMO that you will find out about next year. I'm going down there to spend some time in a little secret studio to test things. But they are letting me film it because they trust me not to release anything to you in the future. We will be vlogging it. Yes, they want us to film and record everything. We just can't release it for months. So that is the situation. I'm allowed to go down and I'm allowed to film and I'm allowed to take recordings away, but I am not allowed to reveal anything to you guys until late. I think some point this year, but probably next year is where it's going to be. So that is why we're doing Drama Time on a Thursday. And regardless of what happens, we will be out of here before 5 p.m. because I have so much goddamn things to do. But we are not going to leave you drama starved. That would be a horrible thing to do. But it's been a great week. It has been the week of Final Fantasy 16. We have completed it. We have finished today. Final Fantasy 16 is now done, so all our regular viewers who've been avoiding spoilers and stuff, you are now safe from Final Fantasy 16. My thoughts will be on YouTube. I will now have the weekend to sort of mull over everything that happened in that game. We played it pretty hardcore for a good while. We might have a Final Fantasy 16 stream on Saturday afternoon when I'm back in Manchester to finish off some little extras that are lurking around and to see how those goes. But other than that, it will be gone from the streaming universe. So it is a wonderful time for us all. Now, what I have in front of me is several stories which our good Lady Bex has been through and validated to see whether they're good. She says they're all good choices and all really goofy. I see one, though, about a roommate, and I particularly love any stories about roommates because they're usually full of absolutely horrible people doing horrible things to people. And that kind of fits with our FF16 theme. My son is here, though, to present me with what? I'm in the middle of a show. Is it important? Have I got any pencils? That is your number one priority right now. Yeah. I don't. Thank you, though. Can I get back to work? Thanks, son. Appreciate it. Love it. Okay. Let's go over here then and put this in. Why would I have pencils? He knows his priorities. He needs it done. And I will provide. That is the situation. I will note, however, literally 2 weeks ago, I bought my kids 2 packs of 50 pencils each. Seemingly is not enough. Seemingly is just not enough. Emma lost them. I think my wife's clumsiness rubs off on my children in some ways. They don't seem to have the organization and skills as me. It's like, Mike, do you know where your watch is? Yes. Do you know where your keys are? Yes. Everything is sorted and organized. But here we are. Okay. Let's go. Mikey! Hello from sunny Bulgaria, where after 5 p.m. hits, it's Rakija time. And I could drink strong alcohol without being judged by anybody. What is Rakija? Any Team Bulgaria here? What is Rakija time? I hope you and your chat have had a wonderful Friday. Well, it is actually Thursday. I started watching you around the middle of Battle for Azeroth. I am a Legion baby. Oh, we in World of Warcraft? And when I discovered Drama Time, I fell in love with it and I watched most of it. Except Season 1 to Season 3, since they're poor quality. You know what? Fuck you, right? We all started somewhere. We all started... You shut your mouth, right? You know how many people have come to me over the years saying they want to get into YouTube, they want to get into streaming, and you know what the first thing they ask me is, what microphone should I buy? What camera should I buy? It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. They really don't. They don't care. Have you seen some of the most popular streamers on this website? They literally have a shitty webcam showing dog shit in their background. I'm not talking about Asmon, but kind of, right? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So get over yourself. It's fine. Okay. Yesterday, while I was struggling to fall asleep, it popped into my head like a meteor. And my mind, stories that happened to me so long ago. These stories revolve around the game called Drakensang Online. That's a new one. That's a new one. Drakensang Online. What is that? And there's always somebody here who's fucking played it. Oh, yes, I'm very au fait with Drakensang Online. And it looks like Path of Exile. Is it like Path of Exile? It looks like it. Alright, we've got an Is It Worth Playing video. This is for me and the live stream that's here right now. And garbage at my job. There we go. Alright, let's have a... Not one. Go. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it is. It looks like Diablo. Yeah, so for our audio listeners, this game looks very much like Diablo and Path of Exile. Same sort of screen setup, same sort of good. Apparently you can load hardcore. Skipping on. Yeah, it looks like Torchlight and stuff. It's got daily login rewards and usual kind of stuff. Okay. Not much information to glean from this video, but you get the idea of what it looks like anyway. Okay. I believe no one in the history of Drama Time has ever shared a story from this game, and I hope I will be the pioneer. I believe you are. It is not something that's spectacular, but I still want to share some little stories that happened to me and make all of your days better. The first one will be wholesome, and the second one will not be. Okay. Note from Bex. Drakensang Online is a freemium online RPG that was released in 2011 and still being updated to this day, as it got its last update in February of 2023. I guess people are still wailing away. The first tale I want to share with you is about a really good friend I made because of this story, and to show you that not all 26 to 30-year-old men are creeps. I mean, they are, but we've learned to internalize it. So, the creepiness is still there. It's just we know how to control it a little better. That's all. We know when not to say the thing that pops into your head. My best friend at the time was Gravity Breeze. This story will take place when I was about 12 or 13 years old, and I am 21 now for context. I found another Bulgarian outside our group of friends that is playing Drakensang Online. I'll refer to this game as DSO from now on. We talked in Skype in 2014, and my best friend Gravity told us that he had found another Bulgarian called Couch Mafia. And we said, awesome, add him in Skype, add him in our call, and we'll play together. That's a team. He added him so we could play some dungeons and talk shit and do some banter and so on and so forth. As time passed, I became closer and closer with Couch Mafia and found out he was 26 years old, lived in Belgium, and that he broke up with his longtime girlfriend and started DSO in order to take up the time and repair his heart from his recent breakup. Ah, Drakensang Online. How you have fixed my emotional state. Maybe we should play this after playing FF16. This makes a lot of sense. But since I was talking a hell of a lot with Couch Mafia, Gravity Breeze was getting more and more irritated with the fact that he and Couch started to annoy each other, getting at each other's nerves, and started to argue. Almost every time they were in the same call, they were screaming at each other, while I was just playing my Ranger. At some point, Gravity got so mad that he said he was just going to quit the game. He wasn't very good at the game, and he also stopped talking to us for an entire week. I'm skipping forward since nothing really notable happened that revolved Couch, but we lost contact for 2 to 3 years after I stopped playing DSO. But then, as the stars aligned and luck would have it, we found each other again in a chat room of a streamer. I recognized his name and he recognized mine. And we started playing games together again. Oh, that's really cute. I've met so many people through streaming. We played so much PUBG. We talked so much shit. He kind of became like my second father. He gave me some really good tips about life, which I still use to this day. But after 3,000 hours of PUBG, we got bored and lost contact since we had nothing else that we played together. We DM each other from time to time to see how it's going and hope to play with him again someday. But I just want to let you know, remind the internet that not everyone that is talking to 12-year-old boys is a creepo. Oh. Yeah. What did your parents think of it, though? When this, 20-something-year-old guy was chatting with your 12-year-old bad self. Was they okay? I'm just saying, I don't think I want my kids doing that, but I agree, not everybody is a pedophile. If that's what we're to take away from that little wholesome story. No, you're right. Not everybody is a pedophile, which is something we can all relax on and be good with. But my second tale is more spicy, and the reason I wrote into you today. During our time of playing the game, Gravity brought a random guy from our city to play DSO with us. I don't even know how these two found each other. I suspect they met in the library, where we played DSO like a LAN party. You gamed in the library together? No shit. Are you even allowed to talk? How does that work? How do you game together in a library? I don't know about that, man. That's... Yeah, gaming in a library is one step down from playing on a laptop in 2023. The new guy who joined our little circle of friends was, to put it lightly, a little strange. Let's call him Davey, since that was his name. He also ate a lot of bread rolls. No joke, he would come to the library with a plastic clear bag with 5 to 6 bread rolls in it. Is he a paw? Sounds like a paw. Just bread? I mean, it's a carb overload, I guess. We started to call him the word for this bread in Bulgarian, but it sounds really close to Bulgarian word for female genitalia, which he didn't like being called, obviously. So we ended up going back to Davey after he complained. Any Bulgarians confirm you've got a type of bread that sounds like vagina? You got vagina bread over there, Bulgaria? I don't know what's going on. I need to know about the Bulgarian vagina bread. Doesn't sound like a rich destination. Infelsments? Okay. Yes, you do. Okay. One day, I found out Gravity and one more guy stole Davey's account for some reason. I guess it's to make him angry or something, since he played the game religiously. Also, I have to add that DSO was a very, very clear and very, very unapologetic pay-to-win game. In this game, there are stat gems that had like 12 different upgrade paths. Diablo Immortal. And if you wanted to be good in the game and do damage, you had to spend a huge amount of money or farm for an impossible length of time just to get these gems. And he had spent a huge amount of money in the game. Probably the reason he could only afford bread for his dinner. I only eat bread so I could buy gems in Drakensang Online. That's pretty grim, isn't it? That's not a great place to be. That's I'm saving up for a new gem. I'm just gonna sit here and eat my bread rolls. After Davey found out his account was stolen, he had been screaming for like 1 to 2 days and threatening to jump off his balcony as he could not afford to buy an account as good as the one he had. I think Davey might need some help. I think Davey might be really struggling with things if you're suicidal over your DSO account. I think our friend Davey might need to talk to somebody. Probably worth it. I want to let you guys know he lived on the 8th floor near a busy road. I don't think the busyness matters when you're on the 8th floor. 3 days after this occurred, I joined in a Skype call with my close friends and the other guy that had taken Davey's account. And Davey himself. Davey had lost his voice from all the screaming he'd been doing. He sounded like a cat that was stuck in a box and had been meowing for 10 days straight. My friends thought it was hilarious. They were laughing so hard at the fact while I asked what happened and he was explaining that somebody had taken his DSO account. I have to add that we didn't like each other much, and we had got into a fight a couple of times before that, and we generally tried to avoid spending time with each other. 7 days passed, and my friends still didn't give his account back to him. Bex, this doesn't end in suicide, right? We've just played Final Fantasy 16. I don't think I could handle it. We hadn't heard from Davey in 4 out of the 7 days consecutively. So the decision was made that we had to go and check on him in real life. This was after his sister had called one of us to go and see if he was okay, because she hadn't heard from him either. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. This is getting dark. I'm sure there'll be a really funny ending to it. I want to remind you that he was living on a busy road near the city centre, and I was the closest one living to him. Me, Gravity, and 6 more people, including those who had actually stolen his account, decided we would all go together for moral support to check on him. We got to the house. 2 of my friends went to the door to knock, while me and the other people waited at the entrance to see what would happen. We stood there frozen for like 3 minutes. And we saw how the 2 guys that went to his floor were sprinting down the stairs. And behind them was Davey, alive and well, holding a knife. Dudes, we gotta play this fucking Drakensang game. This shit is fucking for real. This shit is fucking for real. It's fucking for... We gotta play this game. We started running, and people were staring at us. Gravity was a fat bastard. Did you name the fat guy in the story Gravity? Bex, that's so mean. That's so mean that you named the fat guy in the story Gravity. Gravity was a fat bastard and couldn't outrun him. So instead, he decided to stand his ground and swing the scooter he had with him at him. Jesus. We all stopped and thought for a second. Wait. We had 8 people. He's a skinny, scrawny guy chasing us with a butter knife, which is what we now saw. Okay, it's not a sharp knife. He's got a dull butter knife. We stared for a bit, watching as Gravity swung his scooter. And after some time, we just started shouting at him to put the knife down. Davey threw one of the knives at us and hit someone in the lower back. Obviously, there was no wound, but maybe a little bruise. And then pulled a second butter knife out of his pocket and started running back to his house. Ha! Gotcha. Why is my man carrying all these... Oh, it's because he eats all the bread. Oh, it makes perfect sense why he's carrying around a load of butter knives. He's always eating bread. So he needs his butter knife so he can butter his bread all the time. Oh, that's genius. He's just fucking packing these butter knives. Not just bread, it's butter too. After that moment, we were in a shock for a good 30 seconds, but then we kind of started laughing. And decided that we should just go to the library and play some DSO. No, your friend is having a psychotic break. After somebody chases you and throws knives at you, the solution to somebody you haven't heard from for 7 days, who you've tormented by taking away clearly his only outlet in life, is not to fuck it and go and play games. I think you guys are starting to come across as the guilty ones here, if I'm being honest with you. Coming across as a little guilty. Okay. Days after this, I wasn't feeling too well and didn't go out to play with my friends and stayed in bed for the whole day to rest. I was in my bed when I heard someone screaming my name from the street outside. I looked out my room window to see who it was. And of course, as you can probably guess, it was Davy. There was no way he knew where I lived, and I immediately knew that gravity had dobbed me in. Probably because fat ass couldn't get away from him should he have chased him with knives again. Apparently, Davy had got it into his brain that I had stolen his DSO account and was screaming, calling me names. Now, mind that my mother was home in the next room and she heard all what was going on. She said, "Do you want me to go outside and deal with your friend?" Oh, well played, Mum. You want me to go outside? You want me to go and sort it out for you, little son? It's okay. Mummy fix it. Mummy fix it. I was ill, and I had no patience to deal with him and just said to him that Gravity, who had brought him to my house, stole his account, and I told him to ask him and not me. Davey, of course, didn't believe this and jumped my fence and started banging on my front door. Understand that I was living on the second floor in a house and there was no way he could break in and get to me. To be fair, I have no clue what he thought he was going to do. After that, I watched Gravity, who had brought him to my house, come behind the corner laughing, and then Davey looked confused and asked, "What is so funny?" I just went inside and went to the other room to get myself a cup of tea. When I came back, they were both gone. I can't really remember what happened afterwards. I think that they gave Davey's account back. I had pictures of him the day he came in my front house, made to look like a montage in which he looked really sad. After some time, he clearly stopped spending any time with us. The only other memory I have of him now is he had this full-body Spider-Man costume that he thought was so awesome that he went around the city taking pictures with people in it. We thought this was weird, so we ripped the zipper that was closing the costume at the back of it. I like to think it was unintentional. And he was stuck in the costume for like half a day. Why are you guys so mean to this Davy kid? You're just bullying Davy for some reason. And Davy clearly has some issues that need to be resolved. I believe, though, that he loved Spider-Man. At 15, he managed to get a tattoo of a spider on his shoulder. I want to add that he was super skinny and the tattoo looked really strange. Stop bullying him now! I hope my story makes the tribes. I will like it. I don't think it reflects well on you. It sounds like you just bullied the shit out of this Davy kid who was going around having a spidery time and playing some DSO. It's kind of sloppy because I was a kid when it all happened, but and it's in English and I tried my best. Have a great weekend, everybody. Also, I have another story which is cooking at the moment. Well, I think our chat has spoken here, and I will render judgment. You guys are guilty. You stole his only outlet. You bullied him out of his Spider-Man costume. I'm starting to think that our boy Davey might have even had some special needs. And you drove him to run down a street wielding knives. That's no good. Justice for Davey is certainly required. Fuck me. Well, I'm sure we'll get a follow-up with, like, we misinterpreted it. It's our fault, guys. It's our fault. Okay, the roommate agreement. Where are we going here? Hugs optional. Okay. And Rob. Big Rob. Okay. Well, I'm just saying, I'm telling it. I take some creative license, but the gist is there. The gist is absolutely there. Okay. Hello, Preacher! I come to you from across the pond, representing the good old Team America, baby. Yeehaw, y'all. I've been watching your show for so many years. And I must say, I found myself reduced to tears from laughter on more occasions than I care to admit. Not in our last story, though, right? Well, maybe with the bread knives and the bread rolls and the butter. That could be a thing. Today, though, I offer you a tale from the freshman year of university here in the land of corn, cows, and Christ. Yes, I hail to you from Midwest America. You and your audience shall be regaled with a tale of romance, desire, confrontation, and betrayal. Okay. Chills, y'all. I need to go to the Midwest. I need to get down there. I also request judgment from the jury. They're feeling particularly antsy today, I just let you know. I swear to you that, to the best of my knowledge, I have not embellished any aspects of this story. And the below reading is exactly what happened, how it happened. I have not attempted to paint myself in a better light, as it's important to have a fair and just trial. Okay. The jury is ready. They are more than ready for you. With that said, this story takes place at the tail end of World of Warcraft's Legion expansion. I was just graduating from high school, and myself and two of my closest friends, Hugs Optional and Rob, had all gotten into the same university together. We had known each other for years by this point, so naturally we decided to room together at uni. It just made too much sense from a financial and familiarity standpoint as we began our growing college careers. Plus, and most importantly, we were bros. What was the worst that could possibly happen for three bros living together? We shared similar interests, always had loads of lighthearted banter, which I figured would be invaluable for living away from our parents and relieving the stress of college time. I was the only member of the group who played World of Warcraft. They were console plebs. It's never going to work. You can't live with console gamers. Your TV's always tied up. The games always look shitter. They're clearly just poor performing. They're always using auto-aim. It can't work, right? That's just a loveless marriage. That's all that is. It's never going to work. But what kept us together, friends, was that we were all gamers at heart. And besides, they both played in the past, in the old Wrath of the Lich King days. So they were familiar with what WoW was and how it works. During the first week, our floor advisor, who was a senior student, asked us to develop a quick roommate agreement, as he felt in his experience it would reduce the chance of issues arising down the road if we all laid out the expectations each of us was to provide to the household before we lived together. Sound advice? We believed this was designed more for people who didn't like their roommates or were assigned with randos. So because we was old school bros together, we kind of half-arsed it. Again, what could go wrong? Three newly minted adults living outside of their childhood homes for the first time in a high-stress environment. But remember, we're bros, right? So we put down the usual rules you would expect, including some easy stuff like no noise past a certain time on weeknights, a food plan. Now this is where I will mention that Hugs Optional was dating his high school girlfriend. Rob was single. I had recently just become single after a rough breakup, but no worries. I'm going to college. I think I'm going to be fine. Hugs Optional asked, is it cool if his girlfriend came to our dorm every so often to hang out alone, away from the parents? Rob and I both thought that is reasonable. We, of course, if we had girlfriends, would like them to come and hang out at our apartment. It's where I live, obviously, and also for the sex. We are not going to cock-block our boy right off the bat. Bros wouldn't do such a thing. I said, hey, as long as she's not, like, living here, like, every single weekend or something, I don't see any reason why she can't hang out. Who knows? Maybe if I found a girl in class around campus that I fancied, I would add this to our agreement too. No big deal. The semester begins. Everything's going rather smoothly. However, the stress of classes starts to rise, and we're finding ourselves with more and more work on our plates, more than we ever had to deal with in high school. Rob dealt with this by simply not doing the work, and instead playing PUBG. Nice. Every single fucking day, I got back from class, he would just be sat in front of the PlayStation with a notebook laying off to the side. You could almost visibly see the dust gathering on it as the winner chicken dinners piled up on the screen. In stark contrast, though, Hugs Optional and I, who were in the same pre-major program, were far more diligent with our studies. I found myself with very little time to even log in and play some World of Warcraft. I had to, of course, start dipping on scheduled raids. And at the time, I was the GM of one of the server's largest guilds. A month or so in to this semester, on one Friday afternoon, Hugs Optional decides he needs to talk to us. He said his girlfriend is on her way to the apartment. This was all part of the agreement. Rob and I say, that's cool. I had a raid that evening. I knew I could try and keep out of the way for them. She eventually arrives and enters the room. But not before Rob and I quickly did our best to remove some of the natural men odors emanating from our apartment. The fuck does that mean? Natural men odors? What in the actual fuck does that mean? You guys not clean where you live? You're just leaving like sweaty socks everywhere? What's going on? Okay, we need to revise this roommate agreement. There shall be no sweaty, dirty, fucking, stinky clothes hanging around the house, alright? Okay? You wash your fucking plates. It ain't that hard. You're a grown-up. Wash your fucking plates. It's really not that difficult. Let's get it done. I remember it getting a bit awkward when we both realized that she would only ever speak the Hugs Optional. She never would say a word to either of us. Did you make her feel welcome? She and Hugs Optional were playing some game on the PlayStation. I was playing WoW a few hours before the raid when Hugs Optional asked if Rob and I could leave. You put your PC in the living room? Bruh. What a fucking idiot. You put your PC in the living room with the console noobs? What the fuck are you thinking? How are you supposed to jerk off? Makes no sense. Like, at all. This is just a fucking... This is a foul ball from start to finish. This is just... Timeout. What in the fuck are you doing? You put your fucking PC in the living room? What in God's name is going on? Hugs Optional asked if Rob and I could leave the living room. Now, as previously discussed in the agreement, this was allowed. So we both said, sure, no problem. And we both left. I'm not sure where Rob went, but I was just about, it was just about dinner time for me anyway. So I went out. Buy food, obviously. So I went out, and instead of bringing my food back to the place, I ate on campus for about 45 minutes instead. This still left me plenty of time to make it back for the raid. I eventually finished my meal and start going back to our room. I didn't receive any text, and truthfully, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to receive one, giving me the all clear or not. So just to be extra sure, I lingered outside the door, listening in, checking if I was maybe disturbing something. I pressed my ear to the door. I heard nothing. I walked in. Hugs Optional and his girlfriend are still sitting in the same spot on the couch, playing the exact same game they were when I left. Their clothes did not look distressed, and her hair was still as good as I'd seen it when I left. I thought this odd, but I did not think much of it beyond that. Rob was also back, playing PUBG as usual, if I recall correctly. So I grabbed my headset, turned on my laptop, and logged in for the WoW raid. I would say at this point it was probably around 8 p.m., if not a touch later. I ended up staying on World of Warcraft till about 1 a.m. and decided it was time to log off and go to bed. I had some things I had to get done in the morning and I was pretty exhausted. As I was closing my laptop to jump into bed, Hugs Optional asked us to leave the room again. Rob stood up and willingly obliged like a dog who is trying to get another treat and leaves the room immediately. I later found out he simply went to some girl's room on our floor and made out with her. Nice. When you say leave the room, do you mean leave the dorm? Oh, you do. He's asking you to leave the apartment? I get it's a dorm room that 3 of you are sharing, so it's pretty compact, but 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, the guy's asking him to actually leave the apartment. That's why Rob went to another person's room. Yeah, it's one of those shared dorms. Like, they had them in Manchester University as well, where you have like 2 or 3 people in a dorm room, and then another one across the hallway. I, on the other hand, pushed back, stating I'm tired and I'm going to bed. Hugs Optional did not like this. No, Mike, he did not like this at all. In fact, as I go into bed and turn my lights out, Hugs Optional was beginning to steam more than a kettle. He became drenched in anger. He'd be seen to spend the next 5 to 10 minutes at the foot of my bed, absolutely lambasting me for breaking the terms of the roommate agreement and being a bad friend. It was very clear that he was horny and wanted to have sex, but honestly at this point, who fucking cares? I know I didn't, and I just laid there pretending to be asleep. After a good while of him giving me this relentless verbal assault, his girlfriend, in her very, very soft voice, one that I'd only heard maybe 1 time that entire night, said something. Okay, Hugs Optional. No, it's not all right! And he stormed out of the room with his girlfriend followed behind. They didn't come back for a while, so I assume they went to the car to have sex. Why would that be your... I know it's the Midwest, all right? And I've heard stories. I've never been there, but I've heard stories. But how does it make more sense to go and have sex in a car park outside than in your bedroom in your dorm? You're worried about your roommate hearing it? You're in college. Okay? You're in college now. You're gonna hear people having sex. You gotta just get on with it. You just gotta crack on. That's the way it's gonna be. If anything, you should be bro-fisting the wall on Climax and going, yeah, mate! Woo! Boom! You see that, brother? You've got to get some team play going, yeah? And then your mate will be cheering you on from the next room. You're like, get her! Get her! Give her that good D! Woo, 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 woo! Like, you can inspire each other. You can get some good shit going. It takes the edge off. You know what I mean? You're not going to blow a load in 10 seconds. Get a whole pom-pom cheering team going. That's what college is all about, baby. You got to cheer that shit on. Yes! Or you can run in the middle and just start scaring them wearing a funny mask. I'm not saying I've done that. Just the way it's going to be. There's only one room. There's no way their beds are in... It's a living room plus beds in there. That ain't right. Author, if you're here, I wish to see a diagram of this room. Because there is no... I've been in many university dorms across my country. There is not one room that has the beds in it as well, like some sort of army compound. I refuse to believe. So I want to see that. Anyway, let's see. Maybe it gets told to us. Now, you might think this would be the end of our little tale. But no. My friends, this was only the beginning. The catalyst, if you will. You see, as I lay there drifting to sleep, I realized that this incident was likely going to change the entire dynamic of our bro group. As truthfully, there was no coming back from some of the things he'd said to me. I'm not going to type out the specific insults, but I guarantee they would not be appropriate for this show. The following day, Hugs Optional's girlfriend left, leaving the three of us alone in the room once more. They do call it the room. Sending the immediate tension, I bluntly asked Rob to play mediator. Who was out of line here? Well, my bro Rob, and I swear to you all, sided with Hugs Optional. I was stunned. How I could possibly be the bad person in this situation. It was undeniable at this point that Hugs Optional was done with me as a friend entirely moving forward based on how cold he was acting towards me. And I can only assume that since Rob technically had more in common with him than he did with me, he probably just decided to cut his losses and stay on good terms with his closer friend. Yeah, Rob's a jerk. You can't be kicking anybody out of where they live at 1 o'clock in the morning to get some poon. That's not going to work. You should have done it earlier, man. He gave you 45 fucking minutes. That's like, what, 9 times? Nobody's lasting 9 times. And time for games afterwards. I'll be honest with you, though. I won't lie. I was pretty done with this whole arrangement. I also wasn't in the mood to be vilified for valuing my sleep more than Hugs' dick. Especially when I'd already left the room, as requested, to go and have my dinner. But we had another problem. It just wasn't realistic for me to just leave or otherwise remove myself from this situation. I was more or less stuck here until the end of the semester, when I could then look for a new housing arrangement for the following year. This meant that I probably had a couple of months of an extremely awkward and occasionally outright hostile environment to deal with. Normal chit-chat was now impossible. They continued to get along just fine, but whenever I said anything, their mood change was very, very noticeable. I sensed there was no chance to recover my position. It was at this point where I decided to mentally just check out of the situation. I started trying to spend less time at the room, and I swore to myself that I would subtly try to make them as uncomfortable as they had made me that night. That's right. In my infinite wisdom, I decided to troll the both of them for the rest of the semester by maintaining radio silence even when directly spoken to. How old are you guys again? You're in college, you say? These are college men. Now, to be fair, and I want to be clear, I would not do this now, but back then, that was how I decided to get even. Yeah, what Team America, what age do you go to college? I would have done the same, just not speaking to anybody. Oh my god. Imagine coming home to that situation every goddamn day. What age do you go? 18? 18? You're 18 years old. We need to come up with a way of resolving disagreements. Probably silence is the way to do it. Probably silence is the way to do it. Now, to say this worked, though, would be an understatement. Once they caught onto my plan, their irritation levels went through the roof. Insults were regularly thrown my way. Didn't care. Just do my day-to-day routine, knowing full well that it was awkward for them whenever I walked into that room. Pretty soon, they also more or less stopped talking with each other, or at least when I was in the room. I could enter that room and turn it into a mausoleum instantly. Wow. What a fun college semester this is. You know, your college time was very different to my university time. Very, very different. I managed to create what I like to call the void zone. It was larger than the ones in the Zoth. After roughly 2+ weeks of this, Hugs Optional and Rob must have decided that they were done. Because one night, the dreaded floor advisor stopped by and requested the three of us go to his office, aka his room. Up to this point, he'd been super friendly with all of us. However, I could tell by the vibe that that was not going to be tonight. We sat down, and he wanted to know what the fuck is going on. I had no idea what my roommates had told him to prompt the meeting, so I calmly answered his questions, explaining that I had done nothing wrong but want to go to sleep at 1 o'clock in the frigging morning. My roommates whined that I was making their living space unlivable by not speaking. the floor advisor, as far as I remember, basically told them they had to respect the fact that some people want to sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning, and that I had to make an effort to speak when spoken to. 18. 18 years old. You've got to speak when spoken to. 18 years old. Ah, Jesus fuck. You know, at 18, I'm just kicking my kids out. I'm done with them. Get the fuck out of here. If this is what it's got to be like, I want no part of it. Don't call me. Leave me the fuck alone. I've raised you better than this. Get the fuck out of here. In the meeting, we all made a gentleman's agreement. And since I'm pretty sure nobody wanted to continue this discussion, the meeting was adjourned. Internally, though, I thought, go fuck yourselves. I was wondering how me being silent was somehow equivalent to the barrage of insults that I had levied at me. Now, this, of course, is not the end of the tale. As you might have guessed, the meeting with the floor advisor did very little to change the dynamic between the three of us. Why? Why didn't you use it as a bridge, as a jumping off point? Why keep dragging it on and on and on and on? Oh my God, you guys. Fuck me. They still viewed me as the bad guy. As unbelievable as all this sounds, you're not the really good guy, though. We were about to enter uncharted territory. You see, each of our 3 desks in the room were facing away from each other, each towards a different wall. One day, as we are sitting at our desks doing homework, Hugs Optional asked me a question. Why are you always looking at me, dude? He was talking to me. I don't know what prompted him to ask that or what gave him the idea I was remotely interested in what he was doing. It took all the strength of my body not to burst out laughing. As you might have guessed, I, of course, said nothing. I did, however, tell one of my closest guildmates, who was familiar with the situation up to this point. The semester was almost over, so my guildmate suggested one final troll. And what we managed to come up with did not disappoint. On one afternoon, mere days before the move out would finally commence, I came back to our room early, before Hugs Optional or Rob did. I rearranged my chair, placing it in the middle of the room, directly facing Hugs Optional's desk. I then grabbed a footrest, and you better believe it, I just put my feet up. I studied and did homework like this for the rest of the day. They came back to the room and initially never said a word. We all knew why I was in the middle of the room with my feet up. I made sure that I was staring directly at Hugs Optional, and he eventually snapped, throwing insults at me. He informed me how happy he was to never see me again, and he made a point of posting on his social media how much of a dick I was. I didn't have social media at the time, so when all of our old high school friends and acquaintances saw it, I didn't even defend myself. I couldn't. So now I come to you guys, the jury, to the Preach Gaming community. Was I wrong? Did I troll too far? I still feel as if Hugs Optional had burned the bridges that first night his girlfriend visited, but I would love to hear everyone's thoughts. Thank you all for listening to my little tale, and have yourselves a lovely rest of the weekend. All of you are guilty as fuck, you absolute children. What are you doing? You all suck. You all absolutely suck. Everybody sucks here. Like, what? You dragged this on for weeks and weeks and weeks over one night, over a girl at college age? Dudes, you've got to get your crap together. You can't be doing this. Your entire college year was taken up with this nonsense. Yes, he's wrong to ask you to leave the apartment or whatever it is you live in, this fucking hamster cage you all seem to live in, at 1 o'clock in the goddamn morning. That's totally unreasonable. But it's also unreasonable to have the silent treatment for weeks on end and to rearrange the furniture. Yeah, that's uncomfortable. And you were friends for years. I don't know, semester, however the fuck long it is, I don't know. But any amount of time is wrong, right? I don't think we need to actually the time. Any amount of time is wrong. What are you doing? You should have just had a conversation like that morning. Like, hey, we need to clarify this. I know you got angry at me last night, but I don't think it's reasonable that you kicked me out at 1 o'clock in the morning. So we need to make some arrangement there. I have to get up in the morning. I can't just go and spend the night somewhere else randomly. I can't do that. I gave you your time earlier on. Whatever. I get it sorted. And if he's still mad, that's on him. Whatever. But the silent treatment, no. No. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Well, with 3 minutes remaining, I am going to go jump on a train. I'm going to go pack my bag. I'm going to get on a train. I'm going to do all wonderful things. So I want to thank you all for a wonderful week of Final Fantasy 16 and a wonderful drama time on a Thursday. I will send some pictures out tomorrow of what I'm allowed to. I should be back. I'm back in Manchester at Saturday at 1 p.m. So we may have a stream Saturday evening. I might be tired. I might do nothing until Sunday. Who knows? Who knows what's going to go on? I can't play WoW tonight. I'm going to be sat on a train to London. I will not be getting there till like 9:20 tonight, something like that. And then I have to go meet Nups, who is currently on a plane to London as well. But I will get to see Mr. Nups, which is fantastic. He's currently flying to sunny old England to spend a little time with me. So that's going to be fantastic. All right. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend if I don't see you. If not, for everyone else, I'll see you Monday. But be good. Be awesome. I'll see you in a bit. Bye, guys. Now to find my clothes.